Okay, Fab. Well, I'm gonna get to your questioning. If I ever received something in the mail that stunned me. Well, actually, it happened a couple of months in between. But at first, I got a ticket for an electric bike. I got an electric bicycle that looks like a scooter, but it's considered a bicycle. So it's an electric bicycle, and it's legal on the streets. I get a ticket because the cop says it's not legal on the streets. I said, listen, I just bought it. I know my laws. I checked on the internet if it was legal and everything, and it is. So he checks in his black book about the laws, and he makes a remark to me. It's written that you cannot ride with an electric bicycle on the street with a virgule, apostrophe. You know, when you stop and you continue after the phrase, and he stops there and he closes his book, gives me the ticket. So I go, okay. So I make my research and everything, and I know he's not allowed to give me this ticket. And I check in the black book about the laws and everything. I found a black book. Somebody gave me a black book about the police regulations and what they got to do in interventions, and what the laws are, how he can arrest you or give you a ticket, or what are at base the laws. He has that in his pocket. Now, when you ask a police here if they have this, they always say they don't have it because they don't want to check their laws. When it's not supposed to be, when they're not supposed to be doing what they're doing. Anyways, so when he did this, I took the ticket and I kept it, and I was waiting I protest to go back into court. In the meanwhile, I got another ticket for jaywalking at 6 o'clock in the morning where there's no traffic. The cop are following me, so I show my face, I pass in front of the car that is stopped. So when I see they're following me beside down the street like this, so I stop, they stop. So I cross the street for them to see my face. I have nothing to hide. They give me a ticket for jaywalking. And the policeman, the woman policeman, had her gun on her hand on her gun because I was mad, because they were giving me a ticket for jaywalking at 6 o'clock in the morning in the small streets. Okay, I get the tickets by the mail later on, one and a half year later. But I check the date, I go, okay, this is my time. For the first ticket in my head, it's for the bicycle. But it was not for the bicycle, the electric bike. It was for my jaywalking. So I get up to the court, and when I get to the court, and he says, oh, you're here for this and you're here for that. I said, oh, I'm not here for the bicycle. I checked my paper, I said, oh, where's the paper for the bicycle? How come, where's the ticket? And he says, well, maybe you were discharged because we have nothing. And it was discharged. The ticket was discharged, and they didn't even send me a letter telling me about it. So when I get to court, I said, yeah, it figures, because that was he was harassing me, and he put the points where he's not supposed to put a point at the end of the phrase. The phrase was not finished, because it's written that I cannot ride on an electric bike on a street in a city on an electric bike, and that's where he stopped. But the phrase continues, and it says, unless you're 18 and you have a bicycle hat, then there's no problem. If you're under 18, you gotta have scooter license. But I have my license for driving. I'm 18 and over, and I got a bicycle hat, and he gave me a ticket still. So I guess that was harassing. He knew what he did. He put the point at the wrong place. He was bending the laws at his purpose, because he didn't want to feel bad in front of the people when I told him he was giving me a bad ticket. They got an honor and something to respect, you know, when they have a big badge here and everything. So they have to be, you know, in the name of what? They're protecting their own self. They're doing bad stuff, harassing people like this, and I'm the one that's getting the ticket, and I'm the one that's supposed to shut up about it. So I never got to fight the ticket for the bicycle, never got to bring the policeman in not criminal court but civilian court. I wanted $5,000 for the traumatist. Listen, I had passed 1 week after not knowing if I was sure of what I was doing, even though I had the proof. and he gave me the ticket. So I felt bad about it. So I think it was worth $5,000, but I never got to him because they flushed the ticket, so I had no proof. Second of all, when I got the ticket for jaywalking, I told the judge about the situation. I said, they're just following me. I'm doing nothing. I show my face, and they give me a ticket. I said to them, they're pretty extreme to give me a ticket at 6 o'clock in the morning in the little streets where there's no traffic. I told correct the judge direct in his face, you policemen are extremists. He didn't like it. He said, guilty. So he says, you're going to pay that on the other side. And I said, no, I'm going to pay it to you. He says, no, no, mister. I said, no, no, Mr. Judge, I'm going to pay it to you. I'm going to send it to you. But I didn't threaten him. But I refused, and I was making him feel guilty about this decision. But if I would have said one word too much, like, because I'm going to make sure it's going to be at your address, then he would have been able to do something against me, because that could have been a threat. But you see, I'm pretty fucking wise. I told him off. I told him the cops off. I paid the ticket in time. I didn't pay it. I didn't have money at the time, so I had to do social work. And the people that were making me work to pay the ticket for the city were treating me as a guy that didn't pay his tickets. When I explained to him the story, he understood, and I said, I'm doing my time still. I don't fucking care. I know what I did right and what they did wrong, but I don't fucking care. Is it extremist for me to accept myself to jaywalk at 6 o'clock in the morning where there's no traffic? It would be fucking pretty imbecile to wait on a red light. But they can't figure this out. Like, if I was crossing in the middle of the street when there was traffic or kids can see me or whatever, I'd understand. But in a small street, 6 o'clock in the morning, and especially I cross in front of their face, and I showed my face because they had no reason to follow me. And she gets her hand on a gun too. Man, I called her Lucky Luke. So I never got the ticket. Well, I got one ticket, and the other side I didn't get the ticket. So the question was, did you ever receive something that stunned you? Well, yes. Rock on, Fab. See you around. Don't forget to pay your tickets. No, don't park at the wrong place. Ciao.